Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 125. So for tonight's episode, we're going to stick across the pond, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Prince Andrew and the newest humiliation that he just had slapped on him. And to be honest with you, I have no sympathy for the guy. He's caused all of this himself. He could have came out during that interview and been honest. But he wasn't. He could have come forward at any point for the decades he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and report Jeffrey Epstein. He didn't. He's had the chance recently to come forward and help the investigation that is ongoing into Epstein's associates. He has not. And yet, he would have us believe that he is a man of honor, that he is a man that is so honorable that he has to hop on a plane and fly across the pond to have a conversation with another man, Jeffrey Epstein, about breaking off their relationship. What sort of wacky, weird shit is that, folks? Nobody believes that. All right, you're not an honorable man, Prince Andrew, and you deserve all the scorn, all the scrutiny, and guess what? You deserve not having the Union Jack flown in your name, and you deserve not being involved in anything that the other royals are involved in. How about that? No promotions, no charities, none of it. You're getting what you deserve, and this is just a little taste of what's coming down the pipe for you, hopefully, sir. Because if there's any justice left in the world, you're going to be sweating very soon. And you're going to be sweating in a room full of hardened agents who know what they're doing, they know their job, and they know how to get people like you to talk. And I could understand why Prince Andrew's people are telling him not to talk at this point, because we know we're not dealing with an honest man, right? And the way he has stepped back from public life, the way he has just accepted all of this at this point, and he hasn't really defended his name by coming forward and speaking to the authorities. Well, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? I don't know anyone, honestly. I don't have any friends. I've asked a lot of them the same question. If they were accused of the things that Prince Andrew is accused of, would you hide and not come out and speak to the authorities? Or would you come forward and have a few things to say to clear your name and maybe provide some information that helps the case along? He spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. He spent a whole hell of a lot of time with Ghislaine Maxwell. And for him to act like he's some innocent bystander and all of this, and that he's being wronged and that his name is being sullied, it's ridiculous. The guy's an absolute moron, folks. I just don't know what else to say about him besides he's an absolute and utter bumbling moron. So this article tonight is just more humiliation that gets slapped on him, which is good, right? Because at this point, he deserves it. What he's done to Virginia Roberts for all of these years, the little snide comments he's made, he deserves everything he's getting at this point. So this article is from the Express, and the headline is, Prince Andrew refuses new honor to spare Queen humiliation. I'll put that into normal people speak. He was never getting that promotion anyway. The Queen couldn't suffer the optics of it, and she was never going to do it, in my opinion. But for her to save face, according to him, he's going to turn it down. The guy is such an idiot. Oh, my Lord. By Richard Palmer, Daily Express Royal Correspondent. How do you get that job? What do you go and apply and you say, I've watched every last video about the royals on YouTube. I'm wondering if I can get this gig. I mean, seriously, is there like a real interview for that? Or is it just some reporter that shows up one day and his boss is like, yep, I got news for you, pal. You're covering the royals. I hope you like parties and cake. How do you get slapped into that role? All right, I digress anyway. Here we go to the article. Her Majesty was due to promote her second son ahead of his 60th birthday later this month, but Andrew will turn down the honor in an effort to protect the Queen from the fallout over the Epstein sex trafficking scandal. I have some breaking news, okay? You failed at containing it, okay? Just like Wuhan has failed at containing the coronavirus, you have failed at containing the fallout, sir. Your interview spread the fallout. All right? There's no containment, and you turning this down is just the obvious thing to do at this point. You're not scoring any points for being honorable. You're not scoring any points for stepping up to the plate. You're just a bumbling fool, and I don't even know what to say about this guy at this point, honestly. Seriously. The move would have been in line with a long-standing policy under which senior royals are treated as if they have Senior royals are treated as if they had stayed in the armed forces and are promoted to higher ranks as a result. What does that even mean? So they just get all of these honorary roles? So you haven't been in the military for 20 years, but we're going to promote you to admiral. Why? Why would anyone want a hollow role such as that? Why would anyone want those kind of honors that they did not earn? Your blood doesn't make you an admiral. Your blood doesn't make you a good person. That's your character and the way you were raised and your set of morals. That's what makes you a good person, not your blood. Oh, my Lord. But the Duke of York, who turned 60 on February 19th, has agreed to fall on his ceremonial sword and declined to accept, at least for now, the promotion which would have followed promotions to Rear Admiral on his 50th birthday and Vice Admiral when he was 55. Again, what about all of the people in the armed services over in England who have actually earned those positions? Don't you think it sort of cheapens their achievements by just pinning these medals on Prince Andrew and saying, all right, you're an admiral now? I think he'd be better served if he was put into the kitchen with the cooks. You learn some humility, perhaps. Has the guy ever done a 9-to-5 ever in his life? A full 8 hours of work? I highly doubt any of these people have, folks. And they should. If I was their parents, if I was the queen, boy, these kids would have been doing some serious work growing up. What happened was they grew up so pampered and in such a different world than the rest of us that they have no concept of right and wrong. And Prince Andrew is such a bumbling buffoon that he has been told yes, 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 yes by lickspittles his whole life, that now that he's facing some scrutiny and he's facing some backlash, he has no idea what to do, and it is quite evident. Following the decision by His Royal Highness to step back from public duties for the foreseeable future, aka getting fired by the Queen, his brother, and his pops, the Duke of York has asked the Ministry of Defense if this promotion might be deferred until such a time that His Royal Highness returns to public duty. That, in a nutshell, folks, is the problem with these people. Him, Ghislaine Maxwell, all of them, I'm sure Glenn Dubin, they all think they're going to return to public duty, to the public eye. They all think they're going to be accepted back into polite society. But I'm here to tell them that ship is sailed. They'll never, ever, ever be left alone if they think they're going back into polite society. They'll be dogged by reporters. They'll be dogged by journalists. They'll be dogged by the questions they have refused to answer for so long. And nobody's going to stop. This case is not going away. I have breaking news for the prince. He's never coming back to public life, okay? That's never going to happen. So get that out of your mind. What you better start doing is formulating a game plan for when you talk to the feds. And after that, maybe watch some videos about what happens in prison just in case. Because let me tell you what, buddy, you have a better chance of going to jail than you do of going back to public life at this point. That's certainly in my opinion, he has very much closer to facing criminal penalties than he ever is to coming back into public life. It's just asinine to even think that he would... Where would he get that idea? Oh, that's right. His elite, stupid-ass, white-gloved upbringing would give him that idea. Andrew, who left the Navy in 2001 to become a full-time working royal, is by no means the only member of the family to be promoted as if he were still in the forces. A full-time working royal? What is that, like when the German Shepherd leaves its mother, that it's a full-time working dog? I don't even understand what that means. A full-time working royal? What do you even mean working? Going to banquets, going to eat dinner, taking pictures? That's not work. Put this dude in the kitchens. All right? Put him in the laundry room. Put him out there in the field. This dude doesn't know what work is. He's been handed everything his whole life. And since he's been handed everything his whole life, he thinks that he can treat people any way that he wants. Well, he's wrong. His elder brother, Prince Charles, was made an admiral at the age of 58, and his sister, Princess Anne, was given the same honor at 62. Well, that's nice. Everybody's an admiral. Here's an admiralship. Here's an admiralship. Here's an admiralship. And the people that actually earn those honors, what do they get? Are they called the common admirals? And these are the royal admirals? It's so ridiculous. The monarchy on its face is absolutely ridiculous. But palace and defense officials suggested the promotion, which has to be approved by the Queen, could yet be resurrected in future if he clears his name after an FBI investigation into his friendship with the late convicted sex offender Epstein. Wait a minute. His friendship, that's what they're investigating? Yeah, I think they're investigating a little bit more, boys and girls. That is, are you kidding me right now? How about the fact that Virginia Roberts was trafficked to him? How about they're investigating that? The latest humiliation for Andrew, which follows the cancellation of a planned birthday reception for all his patronages after he was forced to stand down from representing them, comes amid frustration from U.S. authorities who have allegedly tried in vain to arrange an interview with him. And we know that Jeffrey Berman has stood by his statements that Andrew has not cooperated with the investigation. And while I really don't trust the SDNY either, it's telling to see them go public the way they did. It's a very rare occurrence that happens. It also follows uproar over plans to fly Union flags on government buildings and town halls to mark Andrew's birthday after critics branded a reminder circular sent to local authorities crass and offensive. Yeah, to say the least, crass and offensive. Why anybody would think it would be a good idea to celebrate and commemorate this buffoon at this point in time is beyond me. Before you hit the email next time, you bureaucrat, have a little bit of a come to thinking moment, all right? And think to yourself, should I hit the send button, or maybe I should ask somebody first? Because that's an absolute ridiculous email to send. Officials in Whitehall were forced to announce a review of the policy under which government buildings are required to fly the flag on royal birthdays, and town halls advised that they can do so if they want on such designated days. A government spokesman said the Department of Culture, Media, and Sport will be advising councils that there is no requirement to fly flags on February 19th following the decision by the Duke of York to step back from public duties for the foreseeable future. Oh, well, common sense does reign every now and again, huh? The blowback was sudden and it was fierce, and right away. All right? Right away the blowback began when this was reported. The English people were like, are you kidding me right now? The decision will also apply to other government buildings. An email had been sent to councils by Matt Stevenson, the private secretary to Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government Secretary Dame Melanie Dawes, reminding them that Andrew's 60th is a designated flag day. So, Matt Stevenson, probably a good idea to check with your boss next time. Maybe you should have your emailing privileges taken away, because this, my friend, was an absolute and utter ridiculous move to make. Who sends that email? Who doesn't have enough of an idea about what's going on around them to look at this and be like, we might want to check on this one. I don't even understand. But that's what you get with these bureaucrats, folks. Liverpool Mayor Joe Anderson said, when you look at his behavior, it wouldn't be appropriate for us to mark his birthday. Correct, we talked about that earlier today. But Westminster Abbey will still mark the Duke's birthday by ringing its bells in celebration. Oh, there are so many jokes here for me to go with, but I'm not even going to do it. I mean, look, is the church for real? They have an optics problem of their own at this point, but they're ringing the bells for Prince Andrew, who is accused of having sex with an underage victim of a trafficking ring, and you're ringing the bells for this guy? Oh, yeah, that's going to go over well. I am sure that is going to go over well. The Abbey where the Queen was married and crowned is also where Andrew wed Sarah Ferguson back in 1986. Andrew stepped down from public life in November after the fallout from a disastrous interview with a BBC Newsnight. He was accused of showing a lack of empathy for Epstein's victims and for failing to show regret over his friendship with the disgraced financier. Pedophile. Yeah, he didn't show regret over a lot of things, not just over the friendship. I hate when they say that. It's not just the friendship, all right? That would make him just an enabler. And while that's gross as hell, and if you enable Jeffrey Epstein, you're a piece of shit, he's on a different level of part of this ring, right? Because he is being accused directly by Virginia Roberts of engaging in the trafficking ring and abusing her. So that's a different level of just saying, oh, it's his friendship. U.S. authorities are keen to question him over what he knew about Epstein's alleged involvement in a sex trafficking ring of wealthy individuals abusing young women and underage girls. Lawyers for some of Epstein's alleged victims also want to talk to the prince. Look, we've seen the emails where he was joking about breast cancer, where he was joking about Virginia Roberts. You don't think he would talk to these other people about what they all engaged in and they wouldn't have a good laugh about it? And for him to act like he knows nothing about any of this stuff is so disingenuous, folks. It is so disingenuous, and I am so glad that the public at large is taking a look at Andrew, and all of us are shaking our heads collectively at his stupidity. One accuser, Virginia Roberts, has alleged that she was trafficked by the billionaire financier, pedophile, to London, New York, and the U.S. Virgin Islands to have sex with Andrew when she was only 17. Andrew has strenuously denied her claims, and they put that in at the very end, the very last paragraph. So it seems like there's still a lot of these articles that we read where they still want to be coy with the language, and they don't want to just come out and blast Prince Andrew for what he is, and furthermore, Jeffrey Epstein for what he is. We all know what Jeffrey Epstein was, all right? What he needed to be convicted in court for us to know what he was. There was ample evidence to know what Jeffrey Epstein was. It's not like, you had one person come forward, there was no evidence, etc., and you're just, sullying someone's name because that's your opinion. There is just way too much evidence to think that Prince Andrew, or especially Jeffrey Epstein, didn't do what Virginia Roberts is accusing them of. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that these two men weren't involved in what she says. And some of these articles make it out like, oh, well, the question's still out there. I think we're getting a lot closer to answers than we are to questions here, folks, all right? The evidence is it's overwhelming at this point of what these guys were up to. It is overwhelming that there was a trafficking ring that was servicing elite rich people that was being run by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. There is zero doubt about any of that at this point. Now just comes outing all of the rats that have taken to the holes to try and hide and not face justice. But their time is coming, and we'll be here every single day until that time arrives, folks. All right, if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. And if you would like to help support the podcast, you can do that by clicking on the GoFundMe link inside of the description box. We are more than halfway to our goal. Thank you so much for everybody who has donated so far. It's because of you that we're able to do these trips. It's because of you that we're going to Santa Fe. It's going to be because of you that we go to New York to cover this, and maybe even the Virgin Islands at some point. Who knows? We're going to follow the evidence and follow this case wherever it takes us. All right, everybody, I will be back tomorrow with the usual. Have a great night, and I will talk to you in the AM.